A budget of $200 million to $2.1 billion in revenue worldwide, 20.7 million spectators in France, 14 Oscar nominations and won 11 statuettes. The Titanic of James Cameron seems today no longer to sum up only a series of colossal figures. Worthy reward for a masterpiece of cinema, will say some, proof that the film ultimately rests only on a story of big underglamour mothers. Because the incredible success of the film, beyond a largely creditable income statement, was in its time at the origin of a real phenomenon of society, that the one who never shouted, "I am the king of the world" by spreading my arms, throws me the first stone, object of all the discussions and all the conflicts. The fanatics, "I'm going back for the 57th time so much it's great." The prepubescent teenagers, "I'm going back for the 57th time so Leonardo is too good." Or the simple amateurs, "Here's a good film," were opposed to the refractories of the genre. "It's a marshmallow too." Induce vomiting. To the elitists, "Everyone saw it, everyone talks about it, it annoys me, do not go see him." Or the morons, "I'm not going to go, we already know the end." Titanic could become again what it is before all, a film. And a very good one. By appropriating one of the greatest contemporary myths, but also the codes of a certain cinematic classicism, James Cameron composed an epic fresco with the dimensions themselves: Titanic. The story is simple and tragic, a modern liner, flagship of the naval industry, deemed unsinkable, dark in the waters of the North Atlantic during its first crossing. Far from being a mere incident, this shipwreck is a political, technological, social, and societal testimony of the Western world of the early 20th century. Many documentaries have also returned to this event and its historical implications. However, Cameron does not sign here a documentary but a film, intended for the general public. But what more universal to win the adhesion than a beautiful love story? A solution all the more effective that it will allow the director to crystallize all the themes of his film. Young, penniless artist, free and rebellious, Jack Dawson embarks in extremis on the Titanic to try his luck in the New World. Rose DeWitt Bukater, a young aristocrat stuck in her tight corset, has to marry a man who represents everything she dreams of escaping. It is a little princess and the peasant, Romeo and Juliet, that we find in this couple that society prevents to love each other. A love story that, if it does not crumble under the originality, remains a beautiful story whose anger and strength are carried by well-written characters and very inspired interpreters. Moreover, this scenario-based bias is extremely useful for several reasons. 1. By making this idol follow a course quite classic cinema, it gives it a universal breadth that strengthens the process of identification. 2. While the outcome is inevitable, it adds a stake necessary to maintain dramatic tension. The boat will sink certainly, but will they get out of it? 3. Their social origins and the need to flee the eyes will be the real A, allowing the director to do what really matters to him, show the boat and its passengers. Without Rose, no access to luxury cabins or the ballroom, no meeting of the aristocratic world or members of the crew. Without Jack, no visit of popular floors, no Irish party. Without their love affair, no hold or engine room. That would have been a pity, as the meticulous work of reconstruction is breathtaking. Sets, costumes, machinery, accessories, it is the Titanic that resurfaces before our eyes, magnified by the photography of Russell Carpenter. James Cameron then has the intelligence not to do too much. Convinced of the realistic force of what he films, he sports, of course. Titanic would not be Titanic without his sinking. Here too, Cameron puts us in the spotlight with what will undoubtedly remain one of the greatest moments in the history of cinema. Despite the incredible length of the disaster, an hour and a half anyway, he managed the feat of keeping us spellbound with breathtaking images of realism and a keen sense of context and staging. Great show certainly, but not only free. Indeed, the part of the film devoted to this sinking allows the director to return to all the milestones he has posed since the beginning: the contempt for the popular social classes, the hypocrisy of the bourgeois classes, the blind trust of the man towards his creation. He also takes the opportunity to address topics that are more personal and that Terminator or aliens, if so, the destructive potential of technology, the will and strength of women, and the Titanic to become the symbol of an arrogant and dehumanized technological society that, having failed to prevent its own shipwreck, can only ask if there are survivors.